Welcome to this tutorial on how to mold your feet for your Rocket7 custom cycling shoes. In your molding kit, you're going to receive a foam box, molding platform, plastic tube, gloves, some sample material, 3 molding socks, measuring tape, scissors, electrical tape, some molding paperwork, paper to trace your feet, and plastic bags for protection. Some things that you'll need to provide are a garbage bag to protect your floor, bucket of water, and some paper towels. First, we're going to start with the plastic tube. You're going to tape this on the top of the foot. It's best to have 3 pre-cut strips of the electrical tape ready to go. Once you have the molding sock on, you're going to end up using this plastic guide that you're going to cut along later in the video. After you have the tube in place, you want to put a plastic bag over your client's foot. You want to always try to keep the client's foot in the proper position, and that's the ball of the foot in between those 2 black strips. You want to keep them in line with the hip, knee, and their foot all in one line. And from a side angle, you want to keep the client's kneecap over the balls of their feet. At this point, we're putting our gloves on and getting our sock ready. You're going to open the bag, you're going to pull out the sock. There is a little plastic film on the outside, and sometimes if you squeeze the sock, it's easier to get that plastic film off. And once you have the plastic film off, you're ready to pull the sock apart. Once you have the sock apart, now you want to start turning it inside out. There's a smooth side and a rough side, and you want the smooth side to be on the inside where the client's foot's going to be. Once you have it turned inside out, you want to give it a good pull, stretch it out just a little bit. And now you want to get the sock wet. You want to submerge the sock in the water for about 5 seconds. Once the sock's good and wet after about 5 seconds, when you pull it out, you want to put your fingers on the inside of the sock, which makes it easier to pull the sock onto the client when you're ready. And now we're ready to put the sock on the client. You'll see that there's a green strip on this one. The strip always needs to be facing up. You don't want it underneath the foot. We've found the best technique is to pull the sock up as far as you can on the top side of the foot where the plastic tube is, and then work around where the heel is. And once you get the sock up over the ankle, you can start massaging the foot. What this does is it activates all the materials in the sock, and it's going to start to harden. And you can see how I'm pulling the toes of the sock out, and what that does is it ensures that your toes are not cramped. And now we're ready to place the foot on the platform. You want to make sure that the ball of the foot is in between the 2 black electrical strips. That's the dead center of this platform, and it's very important that you get the ball of the foot as close to the center of those 2 black electrical strips as you can. And you can see I'm massaging the front. I'm going from the front where the toes are to the back where the heel is, and I'm just activating the sock. It's going to start to harden in a couple minutes, but at this point it's going to be pretty soft. And I'm pushing down all the extra material out of the toes, and I'll come back and I'll work the Achilles area, and I'll work the sides, and I'll continue to push out all the extra material in the toes. And you just want to keep rubbing the sock forward and back, pushing out all the extra material in the toes. And at this point, you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to cut a small hole right in the front, right where that little tube is. Underneath, you can see where the indentation inside the sock is. You just want to cut a little hole in the front, not too big, not too small. And you want to go up to the top of the sock where it's pretty thick, and you want to cut through the very, thick part of the top. Once you have that cut, you can go back to massaging the sock. Just kind of making sure that you're getting all the material pushed out of the toes and going back around the Achilles and just rubbing the entire sock. You're going to do this for a couple minutes. And you can see how I just kind of go around, try to make the ankle as snug as possible. You just keep pushing out the extra material in the toes. It's very important that you just continue to work the sock until it's fully cured. And I'll continue to come back, push more materials out of the toes, and go back around the heel just to kind of ensure that everything's still tight. And you're going to let this sit for about 8 to 10 minutes and really take your time with it and just make sure that it's done correctly. And this is when you double check the position. Make sure the knee is over the ball of the foot. You want to still make sure that the hip, knee, and the ankle or the foot are still lined up. And now we're ready to cut off the sock. The sock's been sitting about 8 to 10 minutes. What I like to do is use my index finger as a guide. You can see how I'm using it and I'm putting pressure upwards on the scissors to make sure that I'm not going to injure the client at all by cutting into them. And take your time with this. Take little tiny snips. You never want to clip the scissors all the way down like if you're cutting paper or something. You just take little tiny ones, work your way to the top. And once you get all the way to the top, you can let the client sit another few minutes to let the sock harden. At this point, we're ready to pull the sock off. You want to put your fingers under the sock to pry it off the platform. And now the client's going to wiggle their toes and you're going to pull the foot out. Once the sock is sat for maybe an hour or two, take the black electrical tape, wrap it around the top, wrap it around the bottom a couple times, and that's it. And now we're going to go over on how to trace your feet. The most important thing about this is the angle of the pen. If the angle is straight up and down, that's incorrect. And if it's tucked under your foot, that's also incorrect. There is a perfect angle, and you want to maybe pretend that there's a light above your foot, and if there was a shadow from that light to the paper, that's where you want to trace. I'm going to show you 3 different angles and you'll see the difference in what this can do to the sizing of your foot. Now you can see the different types of tracings. It's very important that you try to do this the best you can. Take your time. We're going to go step by step on how to get the perfect trace. First, you want to make sure your client is standing on both feet, shoulder width apart. It might be easiest to take a business card or a straight edge, and right where the business card touches the paper, that's the best place to make a mark. And then you can connect the dots to get a pretty good tracing of the foot. And don't forget to do 2 tracings on each foot. That means 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Here's another angle from the back. Again, using the business card, you're going to make a dot right where the business card touches the paper. Once you get all the dots, you just connect them and then trace around the foot. And after you're done tracing, you can double check with the business card to make sure that everything is perfect. And don't forget to use the prepaid label that we've included in the molding kit. Take it to the local post office, and that's it. Thanks for watching.